Hello, everyone. This is the next episode of NicNames Podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs, for startups, for people who want to register their domain name, but they don't know how. And today I have next guest, Eshan Pancholi. He is the VP of Marketing of ShortDot registry. Hi, Eshan.
Hi, Andriy. Nice to be here. I'm very happy to be a part of your podcast. I know we discussed this a few times, but it's finally good to be here. Looking forward to the episode.
Thank you for joining. And my first question is, can you introduce ShortDot and the mission and what you're doing, guys? And in general, what is ShortDot?
So ShortDot is, like you mentioned, is a domain registry. We are one of the top leading domain registries in the world. So we have 5 domain extensions: ICU, CU, CFT, FPS, and .bond. We've recently onboarded .QPON as well. This is a registry service that we're offering. So QPON was already an extension that was running, and we've just taken over the operation. So we have 6 domain extensions in total. We have also branched into joint ventures with other companies like Web United, Nikki, and NameBlock, which is also a complete domain solution, a company that we have in terms of providing Web3 services, brand protection with NameBlock, and also getting into the crypto space with Nikki. So we're trying to encompass everything that the domain world has to offer and be at the forefront in terms of just being trend leaders and not just following the trend after it happens. So yeah, that's ShortDot in a nutshell for you.
Perfect. It's very, very cool. We will discuss today Web3 part. We will discuss Asian section. But first, I saw the slogan of ShortDot. The value is your name. What does it mean to you personally?
We believe that every brand, every online brand should have a perfect identity. We see a lot of people settling for domain names that have hyphens or numbers or misspellings. And the idea behind ShortDot was to have short extensions. So if you see, all our extensions are very short, and you can get another short name or brand identity to the left of the dot. So the idea is to make sure that there is enough value in your name. So when you go out in the online world, where there are so many businesses, so many identities, so many professionals who are online, you want to stand out. You want to have a name that's brandable, that's memorable, something that people will remember and also associate with in a positive way, and be able to remember you and spell your brand correctly rather than having all sorts of weird characters and stuff like that. So the idea is to provide and empower businesses, young generations of people like Gen Z, millennials who are just setting out or trying to build a portfolio, trying to build a website, and give them a name of their choice or an exact match name for a very, very affordable price point, and at the same time on an extension that's exciting, that's young, and that's unique. So that's the idea.
My next question is, you said you're managing 5 domain zones, and new domain zone does QPON. Could you please explain for each zone the purpose of each zone? Because some people, they may not understand what is ICU. Maybe like in the US, people will think about the emergency room or something like that, So in general, why exactly these are you managing, your registry managing, and who they are for?
So we have, like you mentioned, we have 5 domain extensions, and the 6th one, which is .QPON. They're all very different. They're very unique. The idea behind each is we always think about a different person when we think about each of our extensions. So with .ICU, we always think about a little child or a little kid with different balloons playing in the park. It's more youthful. It's more fun. With .CU, we think about more Gen Z, younger people who are online, who are on Instagram, on TikTok, who cannot stay without a phone or a computer. They need some kind of technology in their lives, and it's for younger people. Bond, it's more of a boardroom look. It's more about a professional, a financial person who wears a suit every day to work, who's more serious about his business and stuff like that. And it's also about building credibility and trust. With .CFT, we positioned it for clothing and fashion design. The idea being that it's a huge industry, and it's also a very chic and unique extension for that industry. And it's for influencers and stuff like that. With .SPS, the idea was to make it more side by side. So it's more for organizations, philanthropic initiators, and also for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who are juggling multiple projects side by side. So that was the idea there. So yeah, just to give it in a nutshell, I would say ICU and CU is more for Gen Z, millennial, younger people who are looking to build a unique online brand with a short domain extension and are looking to get an exact match name. With .bond, it's more for crypto, finance, insurance, stocks, those kinds of serious businesses that want to build credibility online. So .bond helps with that. And bond is universally understood as well. And then of course we have CFT and SPS, which is in the clothing and then also in the philanthropic initiative, respectively. So that's how we have assigned each zone and gone for the branding and for the marketing. And that's how we position all our extensions with the marketing that we do. And we've communicated that actively through PRs, through influencer videos, through all the registrar marketing that we do. So yeah, that's how we would categorize and box it.
Yeah, I remember you when we were a conversation in our email. You said CEO. So
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool. It's like CEO. So. But for example, this domain zone, how you can use in real life? Like, can you please give an example?
Yes. So with ICU, for example, we have a couple of, so it's more geared towards, like I said, millennial professionals. So we have a couple of spokespersons and actors. Like we have someone called Amélie. She's a spokesperson and an actor from France. And we worked with her for a couple of videos, but she's built her site called AmélieTalks.icu. And she's got her entire portfolio there. And same with the .cft, for example, we have Lee Dahlberg, who's an influencer that we work with. But he decided to build his portfolio website on Lee.cft. So he got his first name .cft, and he's just built his entire portfolio there. So he's a Netflix actor, he's an entrepreneur, he has done a couple of modeling shows, he's also being featured on Shark Tank. So he's using Lee.cfd. And these are the kind of examples we normally try to use in our marketing to sort of drive that message home, where we say, okay, if these kinds of professionals can get their first name or get the name of their choice without any hyphens or any other issues on an ICU, on a CFD, or on a .bond, for example, then why not go for it? So that's the messaging that we go for, and that's something that we've seen that works as well. I mean, we have a couple of like for example, blockchain.bond. There's a website called blockchain.bond, and they're using it to highlight their business and their mission and vision. So they were able to get an exact match, blockchain.bond. And that's pretty cool, because if you try to get blockchain.com or something else, or the blockchain.ai or anything like that, it's going to be very expensive, probably not available, but they were able to get it on .bond. So
yeah, I think it will be.
It's a great brand.
I think it will be like mostly impossible to register something like that.
Exactly.
It's like domain in NFT. If you will check NFT in any domain zone, it's taken everywhere, literally everywhere.
Exactly.
Some premium domains, some premium are available, but like it's almost impossible. So .bond, think about it. If you're in the financial market, if you're connected to crypto, if you think about something about money, .bond, it's a very good domain name for you. Okay, and I think we didn't talk about .QPON, right?
Yeah. So .QPON is our latest edition. So this is something that we are offering as, so we have another program in ShortDot called the registry services. So what we're doing is any current existing extension or registry that wants to run the extension in a more efficient way, or they don't have the resources or whatever it is, we can help them with that. So we have a network of over 400 accredited registrars that we work with. We have a full marketing team, and we have a full sales team. So we're able to really drive registration, get revenues up. We're able to do a lot of promotions. So we just started a .QPON a few weeks ago, just before the ICANN in Istanbul. And that's, so it's pretty new to us. We're very excited. We positioned .QPON, which is, I think, the normal way that they also positioned earlier, was for e-commerce, retail, events. Anybody who's trying to give or offer a good online deal or a promo code can use a .QPON as their landing page, or for any kind of coupons or freebies that they want to give. And we are yet to run some campaigns and start, so hopefully we will see that run and be successful as all other extensions.
So with my understanding, if you have a website, for example, NicNames.com, if you will create NicNames.QPON, we can just put landing page with all the offers, like promo codes, like some discounts, something like that. So if you have a web, if you're selling online something, just think about .QPON, because this could be your marketing landing page. So register this domain now, because almost everything is available right now.
Yes, that's true. The inventory is very, very open, so you can get a lot of high quality, meaningful names for a very, very low cost. In fact, we have a launch promo that's running with most of our registrars, so you'll be able to get them at a much, much cheaper cost as well till the end of this year. So yeah, definitely go grab your .QPON domain name. I think it's well worth it. So it should be fun.
Let me double check if I registered actually .QPON for NicNames. I'm like checking it right now. And
sure.
Let me see. I just opened the website and checking the domain. Yes, it's available. Okay, I'm registering right now actually because I want to put our promo codes, 2 promo codes that we launched on Black Friday, and we will extend it especially for this episode of this podcast. And if you want to get 1 year membership for free with NicNames, just go to nicknames.QPON and get it there. And we also have lifetime deal for our clients. And for lifetime deal, we will put there 80% discount. So go to nicknames.QPON and get it right now.
And
so this is like to advertise,
yeah, nice. I like
okay. Let me see other questions because I have some questions here. I will cut this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So thank you for explanation about all these domain extensions. They're pretty cool. Which are the most popular extensions among all the 6 extensions?
So the most popular one would be ICU. That's our first baby that we launched way back in 2017. So that's something that has really grown. And also in terms of market share in China, we saw a big uptake with .ICU, and we are now live with .cu and .bond as well in China. So I think ICU would be number 1. But in terms of overall growth that we're seeing CFT and SPS perform really well. The last 2 years, we've seen a lot of quality registrations come in, and also a lot of those are renewals, and the abuse has been very, very minuscule in comparison to what we maybe saw 5 years ago, and then also with a couple of other extensions if we compare ourselves to. So I think the growth has been significant across the board. We recently crossed over 3 million domains under management across all our extensions, and we are trying to drive that and keep that momentum going and grow even further. But I would say ICU would be our top favorite in terms of overall volumes. In terms of what we've seen, it does come down sometimes because of some of the bulk deals we have, etc. But overall, that's been the most stable one. CFT and SPS, I think because of the price point and also because of the large inventory that's available, it's been really performing really well over the last 2 years. So I would say it's a tie between these 3.
Okay. And you said ICU is the most popular domain zone. Why is most popular? How you market this zone? Why people attracted to it?
So with ICU, what we did is, of course, in most parts of the world, ICU, the letter ICU is relevant to the medical industry with the medical ICU. But of course, we do a complete reroute and rebranded that to ICU, like ICU. And the idea behind that is to show people that, okay, I see you, you can be heard, you can be seen online. And we drove that message home across our influencer channels, across our registrar channels. We've also done a couple of billboards in Times Square, New York. We've done newsletters, press news releases, and all these marketing assets that we've deployed across different channels has really helped us drive that message. And also we've seen a lot of domainers and domain investors want to get their hands on names which are with ICU, because again, ICU is a 3-letter extension. So that's great. And I think that's really worked in the stream. And also, I think it's been the longest extension that we have in terms of time duration. We've been having it for quite some time now. So we've had more time to work on it and push that message across. So that really helped us as well.
And also, I know that you're running a lot of promotions for the first year registration. And I think right now it's available. So don't forget, guys, to check which offer is available right now for .icu. I think it's like about $2 or something like that right now. So go to the nicknames.com and register it right now. Okay, you also said that some domain zones, some domain extensions, they more popular in different countries. Why is that so?
I think it's a lot to do with the language as well. I think with .bond is a universally understood word in English. So in countries like India, or you would have it in the US, Europe, it's very common. It's a word that everybody understands. So that has to be do with one attribute for it. But I think with .icu as well, with the marketing and the messaging that we put, that's helped. And there's a certain factor that we've observed in the Chinese and the Asian markets is domains with the letter C, for some reason, tend to do a little better. So that's something that we've seen, that when we had ICU and we had .cu, both these extensions did really well. Of course, we could attribute it to some of the price points as well, as the prices were lower, but it wasn't lower than most of the other competing extensions, where we still saw a big uptake. So I think it's a combination of the meaning, the marketing and the branding that we do to push it, and also the price points, because every market is sensitive to the pricing, and then also what that extension or what those words mean in those local languages. So I think that's played into ICU's favor, and also I think in .bond and our other extensions as well.
Okay, it's a good insight. And let's talk now about startups, because startups usually it's one of the main clients for the fake names, because they looking always for something beautiful, something cool. And why startups should choose any of these extensions of ShortDot register?
I think with startups, most of them are new businesses. So of course, they will not be trademarking the names, and also finding the name of their choice on a traditional extension like .com or .net might be difficult. It might not be available, or it will be taken, or there will be some kind of an issue of that on that front. But what new extensions, such as our extensions, what they offer is the generic. So if you get an ICU domain, it can mean anything, and you can get your exact match domain name as well, and for a fraction of the cost. So I think that is a huge asset for a startup, because of course you would be bootstrapped, or you would have funds from an investor, so you don't want to be spending a lot of your money just acquiring a domain name. But if you can get a brandable exact match domain name for a fraction of the cost on any other extension, why would you not do that? So I think it makes a lot of financial sense. It also makes a lot of branding and marketing sense, rather than opting for something that would be a misspelling or that would not exactly fit the name of the company. Because now the other thing that we have to remember also is brands need to have an identity that's common across all platforms. So your domain name, your Instagram handle, your Twitter handle, your LinkedIn page, your TikTok page, all these social media handles, they should all be in sync. So if you're able to find an exact match name across your domains and your social media platforms, then there's nothing like it, because it just makes that brand message and that brand identity so consistent. And I think that's important to note as well, which is what startups should also think about. So I would say from a marketing standpoint, that's important. And then from a financial standpoint also, I think the fact that so many exact match, brandable, available names are there, why not go for it?
Okay, yeah, it's a great suggestion. Startups, yes, they struggling to find beautiful domain name, and in domain.com, most of the names already taken. Like domain.com still growing like super fast because of people wants .com, but it's not necessarily what you need for startup. For startup, you need a memorable name, beautiful name. So for example, right now, I checking on NicNames.com, best.QPON available for registration. It's a premium domain name, but I see that premium domain names at ShortDot, you paying only to register the premium price, and then you renew it with the regular price. And by the way, why you guys decided to do premium domain names that way? So like first year expensive and then it's cheaper.
So usually what we try to do is, normally we maintain a high model, but with some of the premiums that we're running now across our other extensions, we've been running a discount so that we try and get the first year registration at a lower price and then they renew it normal. With .QPON, we are trying to get more volumes. We want to try and, because there's a big inventory of names available, so we want to try and get the users to sort of buy the name, get on board, and then renew it for a lower cost so they can get more benefit across the years to come. So that's the idea behind that. But yeah, we will sort of stabilize that as well and make it as a standard price point as we have with all other extensions.
Yeah, and why I just mentioned best.QPON is like for startups who want to, collect and spread best coupons, best deals. So it's the best domain name for this type of startup. It's just an example. So just think wider a little bit, yeah, and you can find beautiful domain name that will fit for your business. And I want to remind you that on NicNames, we have a special program for startups. You can choose any premium domain, almost any premium domain name. And if you don't have money right now to register your domain name, you can apply for this domain name to register it for free for first year. And you will see this button apply on the search. So just check it out, and maybe it's something that you can use for your startup. And I just mentioned our program. And do you have any programs for startups, or maybe you want to join our program on NicNames?
We would love to do that. So we did have a program, and we still do. We're not promoting it actively, but within our own network of people that we know, we do this, and we'll be happy to partner with you as well for this. Is we try and help people who genuinely want to build a website. We try and give them the domain name at a very, very nominal cost. So either it'll be no cost or very, very low. and we can help them build the site as well. Like I mentioned, we have a team of marketing creators and developers on our site, so we can help them actually build the website. We can help them design the logo and also help them with some social media strategy and logos and stuff like that. So you can actually help a solopreneur or an entrepreneur or a professional who's just starting out, or a small team of a startup, to get their website up and running. And we can do that in partnership with the registrar such as yourself, which would be great, because then we can sort of figure out the hosting, and we can also figure out any other activities that we want to do with them. And like I mentioned, we do a lot of influencer marketing and stuff like that. So we can really help a new and upcoming business build a website on one of our extensions, help them promote it, and help them scale it a little bit. So we're happy to do that. And that's something that we have been doing for a couple of people that we know in our network. And then we're happy to extend that to your user base as well. So that would be great if we can do something there.
Okay, perfect. We will definitely do something together, more than just recording of the podcast. And now let's talk about the future and about what sets apart from other registries ShortDot, because the domain name industry is very competitive, and I know that you guys doing something different.
Yes, so we are really looking at the big picture. We've zoomed out a little bit, and we're trying to see everything that's coming our way as well. And just to give you a reference of other industries, like if you notice BlackBerry, you notice Nokia, or notice Kodak, these are all big brands, and then they didn't look into the future and they didn't see what was coming, and they sort of became redundant. And that's something that we are afraid of. We don't want to be in that position. So for us, we are trying to look at the future. We know that Web3 is coming in a big way. We also know that in the domain industry, the way it is right now, there are quite a few gaps to be filled. So we're trying to get into everything that we can. So we partnered with IQ Global for NameBlock, which is a brand protection tool. And that is not just for a company that has a trademark, but it's for any business that wants to protect their online identity. So we have a tool called Abuse Shield that we've developed. So that's a very cool product that we have there with them. We've also worked with Freename to create a company called Web United, which is a Web 2 and Web 3 mirroring product that we have. So any domain name that you have now on Web 2, as we know it, can be mirrored to Web 3 on the blockchain. So you can get the facilities and the capabilities and the superpowers of a Web 3 domain name on your Web 2 name. So if I have Eshan.icu, I can mirror that to the Web 3 on the blockchain, and then I can use it for a Web 3 email. I can use it for building a Web 3 website. I can use it for my crypto wallet, same integration. So that's something that we're working on as well. We've just launched that. And then we also have Nikki, which is our crypto wallet tool. So the idea behind that is we want to make sending crypto or receiving crypto payments as easy as sending or receiving an email. The idea behind that is you can use your domain name as a crypto wallet address, or just your email address as a crypto wallet address, instead of the gibberish 32 or 35 character wallet address that you have. We're trying to foray into different zones and different arenas of what the domain experience is like, because we realize that as the younger generations are coming in, if you see, earlier we used to watch the news and get our information from there, but now everybody uses TikTok, they use Twitter. Nobody watches the television anymore. So these are all different advancements that are coming into our society, in our lives that we're seeing. And I think the younger generation, people who are much younger than us, will want to do more with their domain name. And we want to be there to provide them with that facility. So that's the idea behind all the different things that we're doing and trying to differentiate ourselves as a registry. But having said that, we are still a core registry. So our core focus is always on our extensions, getting the numbers in, getting the renewals, trying to help startups with their brand names and all of that. And then, of course, with the next round that comes in for ICANN, we would like to apply for more extensions and grow our portfolio there. So yeah, we're still a registry, but we're also looking at the future and trying to see what else we can do and the value that we can provide to not just users, but also to registrars, and to try and drive revenue for everybody and just grow the industry as a whole.
So your goal is to get more extensions in the next round, right?
Yes. Hopefully. We have a long list, so we will, hopefully we see how it goes.
Okay. So about blockchain, you just mentioned that you're focusing on blockchain, crypto wallet, and other things. Which networks you're working with, and what's the difference between solution, like with the solution, for example, from Ethereum network, they have ENS domains and they point in classic domain names to Ethereum network. What's your solution, and what you're working on this space in blockchain? So
again, I'm not the expert in blockchain, but from what I do understand about everything that we are doing, is that we are obviously going to be working on the Polygon blockchain, but we are working on other blockchains as well. So Web United as a product is more about creating a domain name in the DNS that gets mirrored to the blockchain, and we are able to mirror what's on the DNS onto the blockchain, and not the other way around. So it's just, if you have a domain name in the DNS, it's only then you can get a domain name on the blockchain, and then you can use that domain name in the Web 2 world like we use it now, and then also in the Web 3 world. And that's what Web United as a service provides. So that is where we're at. In terms of how Ethereum and ENS and all those things work, I am not the right person to comment on that because I don't have all the detailed information there. But I would recommend maybe for another podcast episode to call on board Davide, our CEO for Web United. I think he has a lot of information because he runs Streamium, so he knows a lot more than I do to talk about this.
We will definitely schedule another podcast with him. And for our listeners, I want to remind that NicNames.com is fully compatible with Web3. You can use your MetaMask to log into your account. We provide also anonymous registration for people who want to stay anonymous. It's fully compatible with the ICANN rules. You just have to sign the additional agreement that our company will represent you. And you just need to leave your email and zip code. And zip code we need just to calculate taxes. And basically that's it. We also register domains.eth, which is the native Ethereum network extension. And if you paranoidal, if you don't want to connect your wallet to our website, remember you can extend your domain names.eth without connecting your wallet. Just check it out. So you said your registry is different from other registries because you closely working with influencer, you working on the marketing together with registrars. Could you please tell me a little bit more about this part? How are you doing this, and is it working for your registry?
So yes, we have a lot of marketing activities in place with all the registrar partners that we work with. Of course, with the kind of extensions that we have, we try and reinforce the brand messaging. And also, there's a saying, what you see is what sells. So we want to try and make sure that we are on all the registrar platforms on their website, ranking in search results, being on their social media. And what we've seen is all the marketing activities that we do have been a little different from what other registries have done. We were one of the first registries to start with the influencer videos. We've been the first registry that started with the billboards. And those are activities that are really doing well. I personally feel that domains are so intangible in nature that you try and make them a little more physical and a little more tangible. We've had the billboards in New York that we started with. We ran a billboard with hosting in Istanbul as well during the ICANN. And we do have plans for having more billboards and offline advertisements in different cities across the world. You'll see a couple of them in Q1 of next year that we've planned out. And these are things that have really worked well for us. We've also got influencers and spokespersons to talk about extensions promoted on their channel, so it reaches a wider end user reach. And we try and we always do that marketing with a registrar partner, so we can drive traffic to their landing page, and also they get visibility out of it, because as a registry, for us, it makes more sense and adds more value to our relation with the registrar if we're able to provide them with that kind of marketing and that value. So we've seen a lot of uptake in the volumes basis, all these activities that we've been doing, primarily because I think a lot of people see value that a big registrar and the registry are both doing this extension on social media. They see the marketing campaigns that are happening. We're seeing a lot of domainers as well invest in our extension because they see the value in it. And that's something that has really worked for us. So over time, I think it has really paid off, because every time somebody sees that we've done our campaign with a certain registrar, we do see a lot of numbers going up in the following month. And of course, we try and do a lot more old school marketing as well. We do newsletters with registrars, we do blog posts and stuff like that, because those are also important in terms of actually reaching their end users. And then also the blogs help with SEO and stuff like that. So we've sort of made a combination of old school marketing that's proven, that works, and also the new age stuff that's coming in. Because we think that's a combination that's important to sort of balance out and get numbers coming in from everywhere. So yeah, we are doing things a little different, and we are trying to just keep pushing, because we have 6 extensions now with many more to come hopefully in the future. So we're trying to just create that base with registrars and keep pushing it.
Okay, perfect. And as a registrar, I would say you're one of the registries that actually doing that. Other registries, they like mostly just collecting money, they're not doing that much marketing. And this is cool thing to do. And I hope the other registries also will do the same, or a little bit more than they're doing right now. And final things for our listeners who want to secure their domain name. What's your suggestion? What's your advice?
I would say look for a domain name that's brandable, memorable, affordable. Of course, you have to make sure that it's not breaking your bank, but at the same time, something that resonates with your brand. So if you're a person who's trying to build your personal brand, if you're looking for your first name or your last name dot whatever extension, make sure it's available and it's available at a good price, and you're not having to misspell it or add anything, any weird characters to it. I mean, if you're a brand, a startup of some kind and trying to build that brand online, your digital identity is everything, because once you have that set in stone and you start doing some marketing around it, it's very difficult to again go back and change it. So it's a very crucial decision. And I would say don't think too much about what's on the right of the dot, as long as it's in the vicinity of what you want to do. So if you're a finance company or you're anything related to cryptos or anything like that, and if you go for a .bond domain, or you're in the fashion world and you go for a .cft, it covers everything. So I would say look for an extension that encompasses your entire industry and your focus, and then try and find a domain name that matches with your brand and your vision for the brand. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I will confirm that if your domain name fully matches your brand name, that is perfect combination for SEO. So you will be higher on the search request search engines. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I will put links to each extension down below on the YouTube video or under the podcast description. Check each extensions. Maybe you will find some very good domain names for your business, or you can just register all the domain names in each extension, because it will protect your brand, because scammers and other people still exist and they can register a domain name that exactly matching your business in different domain zone. And this is the way how to scam people. So if you're serious business, register your names in each extension. So check out each extension, check out the promotions, and you will have the best online presence for your business. So thank you, Eshan, for joining. It was very cool conversation, very insightful, and I hope we will record another podcast later when you will have more news, maybe about Web3, maybe about something else. So thank you.
Thanks, Andriy. Thanks for having me. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, and for our listeners, please subscribe, put some thumbs up, and don't forget to follow. Bye.